Hello and welcome back to another video. If you saw the last one, you'll know that we're in the capital of Albania, Tirana. I'm not too sure, I'll put it here. I've heard different people say it in different ways, so you choose. In this video, we're going to the top 3 restaurants in the city and we're going to be giving them our own ratings and see which one comes out on top. So let's head to the first one now. Okay, so this is in third place. It's called The Rooms Mediterranean Restaurant. I think it's got a 4.7 on TripAdvisor. So let's head in and eat. All right, here we are inside with a glass of wine and a glass of Prosecco. The interior was actually really nice and the decor was lovely. Not a lot of people in there though. First course was a garlic and onion soup, which was honestly one of the best soups I've ever had. It was phenomenal. As you can see on my face, pure enjoyment. The main courses, I had the beef ribs and my girlfriend had the spinach pasta, looking delicious. So, let's dig in. And once again, the food was very tasty. But not only was mine good, it looks like the pasta got the approval as well. After absolutely devouring mine within about 5 minutes because it was so delicious, of course, I wasn't finished. Okay, so how this is going to work is we're going to score them based off of food, service, and atmosphere. So atmosphere, I feel like it has great potential, but I'm going to have to give it a 3 because, as you saw, no one was really in there. They were playing some good tunes though, so I have to give it to them for that. But yeah, it's going to only be a 3. The food, however, I'm giving it a straight up 5 out of 5 because I thoroughly enjoyed my meal. The starter was off the chain. That soup was unbelievable. So it's going to be a 5 out of 5, so that brings the score up. But the service, they didn't check on us a lot, and we was kind of left to our own devices a bit, which I don't like. I like a little bit of a check-up every now and then. Not constantly, just a little every now and then check-in would be nice. So I'm going to give that a 3 as well. So I believe that brings the average out of the 3 scores to a 3.6 out of 5, which doesn't sound that great, especially considering it got a 5 out of 5 for food. But, you know, game's the game. So 3.6 to start off with, but let's head to the next place and hopefully we can improve on that score. All right, here we are. So this is, I don't know how to pronounce it, so it's this. This is the runner-up. This is the number 2 restaurant in the whole of Tirana. So, Tirana, still not sure. So this is a more traditional Albanian restaurant, which I'm quite looking forward to because we haven't had too much actual Albanian food since we've been here. So this should be really nice. With a 4.8 on TripAdvisor, so 0.1 more than The Rooms, should be quite good. I'm quite hopeful. So let's head on inside and eat some lunch. / dinner. Once again, the interior has not disappointed. It's got a much more traditional feel and traditional vibe to it, which is just so nice. And then for a starter, we had this absolute smorgasbord of Albanian pastries and sausages and cheeses and all sorts, along with this delicious tzatziki / labna. I'm not sure exactly what it was, I can't remember, but it was unbelievable. Main courses, I had this beautifully presented lamb steak, and we also had this chicken dish that was in a flavoursome marinade. Okay, so we finished. It was really, really good, but there was a slight downside. So the chicken, it was just a really tough bit of meat. I mean, it wasn't the chef's fault, to be honest, so, you know, can't mark it down too badly. So I'm going to give it a 4 for food. We'll give it a 4 for food. The rest of it was absolutely amazing, but the chicken let it down. However, there is a redeeming thing here. He did take it off the bill, so fantastic service, and he was really nice throughout the entire thing. So service, 4.5. We're going 4.5. On to atmosphere. It's a really traditional Albanian restaurant, so the decor is really nice. They're playing Albanian type music, and the tables were all lined with Albanian cloths and things like that, which was really, really nice. We are only here for lunch today, rather than dinner, so I imagine that the atmosphere would probably be really, you know, a bit more lively at night. So we can't mark it down too much because that's our fault. We've come at lunchtime, but there was still a few people in there, so it's getting a 4. It's getting a 4. So that gives it a 4.1 out of 5. We still have the number 1 restaurant to go, so who knows? 4.1 is quite tough to beat. Let's see if it can do it. So this, the Smokehouse Bar and Grill, is the number 1 restaurant in all of Tirana, and apparently it's amazing for a steak, so I know what I'm going to be having. So I'm absolutely starving, so without further ado, let's get on inside and order food. Here we are, indulging in some more Albanian wine, taking in the rather different scenery of this restaurant. It had lots of little trinkets and just random stuff just on loads of shelving, which is quite cool. We weren't feeling very hungry for starters, so we just had these mini bruschettas and shared them, which were really tasty. But now on to the mains. Of course, I had a steak, that was a guarantee, and she had the lamb chops, which were rather thin. The main event though, the steak, it was beautifully cooked, just how I like it, and it was so succulent you could literally tear it apart, didn't even barely need to use the knife, and the taste was unbelievable. It was incredibly succulent, and it came with some barbecue sauce, which I've never had before with a steak, but surprisingly went very well. The sauces in this place was unbelievable. Alright, dinner is done. The steak was indeed absolutely amazing, and I tell you what, I've never had it with barbecue sauce before, but it was not bad. It helped that the sauces itself, like even the mayonnaise, it was freshly made and it actually tasted amazing, completely different to what normal mayonnaise tastes like. As well as the barbecue sauce, it was really deep and smoky, which made it actually quite nice with the steak. I've probably already said all of this in the voiceover, so let's just get on with the scores. So for atmosphere, it was a lot better than, let's say, for example, the first one that we went to. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for the atmosphere. It was still really nice. There was some nice music going on. There was a bit more. It was a bit more lively. There was some more people in there. Food, I am going to have to knock it down to a 4. As nice as the steak was, the lamb was slightly disappointing. So only going to be a 4 there. And for service, I tell you what, I can't really fault the service, to be honest. They were quite attentive, but not too attentive. Do you know what? 4.5, I'm feeling generous. 4.5 out of 5, and I think that brings it to a 4.1 in total. So let's see what that's done to the final leaderboard. But before we head to the final scores, over 80% of you aren't subscribed. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and keep this channel going. And what do you know? We have a draw for the top spot with both a rating of 4.1. It's a traditional Albanian place and the Smokehouse Bar and Grill. Both of these restaurants performed very well across all of the metrics, and honestly it was a pleasure to dine at both of them. I can't choose between the two, it really depends on what kind of cuisine you're looking for. And then bringing up the rear with a very respectable 3.6 is the rooms. Some may say that it's been hard done by, but I did give it a 5 out of 5 for food, so all 3 of these options are fantastic options for dinner. I would gladly recommend all 3. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.